After 29 years of marriage, my husband left me for another woman. In my devastation and confusion, I left everything with him except for my personal effects. I had enough to live on for 1 week, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do after that point in time. I was desperate to make sense of what was happening, so I turned to the Bible to see if there were any stories I could relate to that would bring me comfort and a sense of direction during this challenging time. As I was flipping through my Bible and reading various stories, I paused in Exodus and read about the Israelites' fear when they reached the Red Sea and felt like there was nowhere to go, but how God made a way through the Red Sea. I kept reading. When I got to Exodus 20 and the 10 Commandments, I paused. There was something about the 4th commandment that caught my attention. I got up from where I was sitting and went to the wall where I had a framed copy of the 10 Commandments. To my astonishment, the copy of the 10 Commandments I had always read was different from what was in my Bible. What was the Sabbath? Why had I never seen this before? Raised in the Catholic Church, I had never been exposed to this biblical truth, but my curiosity was piqued. Little did I know the added heartache that was about to unfold. I talked to a coworker of mine about what I had read in my Bible, and I discovered that he was very familiar with the Sabbath because he was a Seventh-day Adventist. He and his wife answered my questions as I continued to study the Bible, and a while later I began attending an Adventist church. Then in 2006, I was baptized. Sadly, my newfound faith drove a wedge between me and my adult children and extended family. Everyone disowned me for joining a church that they felt was a cult. I knew I needed to trust God as I went through yet another loss, the loss of my entire family. I believe God would emotionally provide for me, just as He had financially provided for me in those early weeks and months after my husband left me. Even when the math didn't add up and I didn't know how to make ends meet, God had provided. It didn't make sense on paper, but God took care of me, and I faithfully honored Him by giving back my tithe. For instance, one day I received a check from the power company saying that I had overpaid, but I was certain I had not. The money came at just the right time to help pay other bills. Fast forward to 2021, and I had a good job, a loving church family, a network of friends, and a lovely house in Idaho. Life felt stable and comfortable, but I felt God calling me to move to Tennessee. It was such a strong impression that I couldn't ignore it, so I got online, found a house, made an offer, and bought it sight unseen. I then sold my home in Idaho, packed up my belongings, and moved across the country. Once again, God took care of all the details as I settled into a new community. Throughout my life, I have found this one truth to be true. God's ways are not our ways. Through the ups and downs, the loss of family and the joy of my adoptive church family, having nothing to my name and being financially stable, God has seen me through. I believe wholeheartedly that when we are faithful to God, He is more than faithful to us. It is my privilege to give back my tithes and offerings and to plan for the future by leaving money to the church in my will. It is my heart's desire to further the work of the kingdom and to share with as many people as possible the love that I have for my Savior. Taste and see.